Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athlete Shining a Light on Mental Health. Super excited. I got David Mitchell out in Colorado, ever so handsome. David, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, P?
Good, man. You look great. You look tan again, which I'm upset about. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, just getting outside. It's getting nice out. Went biking this weekend, on some trails and some roads. So yeah, it's getting nice out here for sure.
You're never coming home for sure. Adam, you look tan as well out there. We got Adam O'Malley, special guest, episode 3. Is third time co-guesting? Go ahead, Adam.
Lake Wales on your feet.
Get on
Lake
your
Wales,
feet.
Florida. Warner University. Those are my shout outs. Weather, it's probably about 78 degrees and sunny. I'm out of my back patio right now. So life is
Yeah,
good.
upset with you too. And then obviously we got Mclendon in the building. Harper, what's good, man? How you doing?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. I'm not in the Midwest cold like I was last year around this time. It's hot and playing ball. So can't complain.
What you do for good baseball, what you do for
Oh
good
yeah.
baseball. But no,
Oh
super excited, man. We got a full baseball podcast going today. Jackie Tripp is under the weather, so keep her in your thoughts and prayers. But Harp, before we get started, man, you were someone that's kind of pinch hitting today. We had a guest scheduled.
yeah.
And as things happen, things get moved around in the Keep Going podcast world. And 170 episodes in, that stuff will happen. You're pinch hitting, you're coming on, you got a great story. Why'd you decide to take time out of your Sunday, man?
I've always wanted to tell it. I've told people a little bit about, the my journey and things as such. And obviously O'Malley came up to me and I've been telling him I wanted to get on your podcast,
Thank
honestly.
you, by
So
the way. Thank you, by the way.
yeah, so it's something that I've always been, inclined to tell people and maybe help, the younger kids and things like that. Because my biggest thing is I want to help that one person, that one kid, because I was always searching for that. When you go through your own, you know, journey as far as ups and downs, you're like, man, I want to be able to like have a player comp, or I want to be able to see that somebody else can bring it out of the fire, whatever it might be. So
No, it's a beautiful thing. And Adam, it's kind of funny having Adam here. We talk about the roster, we talk about Warner,
mhm.
which we'll go into. But he mentioned you right away. He's like, you have to have this guy on. I'm like, well, the wild thing, dude, is Adam knows how this works. I don't get free spots on here much. We're booking till August, right?
Yeah.
So when we get an opportunity, I'm like, dude, this is the easiest turnaround ever to have you on, man. Adam, I got to talk about this. This is your first year at Warner. First year coaching Hart. How's the experience been? What does he bring to your clubhouse?
Man, it's been awesome. But I can firmly say that in my 7 years, yeah, this is year 7, that's crazy. In my 7 years as a college coach, I've never coached a player as dedicated, as committed, as hardworking, and as passionate as Harper Mclendon. I haven't had that kid. And that is all the credit in the world to him. And as he gets into his journey and his story, like there's a lot of passion behind his purpose. And year one at Warner, we're 21 and 21. I know the record doesn't mean a whole lot right now, but I think we're hitting our stride right now. We've had our shares of adversity, ups and downs, year one blues. But man, I do feel like from being in Chicago at this time last year, trying to figure out what was next. I think this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. So I'm super thrilled. Shout out Rouse, shout out Davenport, shout out Prin, and shout out the rest of the boys. So
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And it's cool, right? Because obviously I work out of a facility here. I still work in recruiting. And I get questions all the time from parents about what is the separator? Like, what does my kid have to do? And a lot of it is just in plain sight. It's doing the
Hmm.
work. It's coming in as a good kid every day. It's being team first. Someone that you look at your roster and you go, I don't know if we win 21 games without a Harper Mclendon, right? Like that's the stuff that I care about. So Harp, when did you get the ball in your hands, man? Like when did this journey start? And let's put a part B onto this. When did you have that I'm gonna play high level baseball moment? Talk to me about that.
Okay. So obviously I started playing at 8, I want to say 7 or 8, but I kind of played everything. Baseball was the first thing. My dad played in college, uncle played, both uncles played. And then my dad played in the men's league and I always wanted to be like my dad. So like I would see him playing baseball and I'm like, man, I want to play baseball. Like that's what I want to do. So I started there just like any other kid. And I want to say, like, my dad's always told me when I was young, 9 or 10 years old, I was still the same way. I was a hothead, honestly. It was kind of bad. I would slam the helmet after striking out. I would be mad. Like, I was always into it like that. And that would be my punishment. No wiffle ball, no working out, none of that. So it was always something that, I just loved at a very young age and loved working towards. Um, and I would say around the age of 15 is where it really clicked for me, 14 or 15. So my freshman year of high school, I was 4'11", 95 pounds. So I knew right then and there that, if I wanted to make a push, that I was gonna have to start working. I knew right then and there. Like no one really had to tell me that. I just remember looking in the mirror one day and was like, okay, I'm tired of sitting on the bench. I have to find a way. I'm smaller than everybody by 80 pounds.
Yeah,
Like
been
I
there.
need to find
Been
a
there.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, I need to find a way, like whatever that may be. So I was switch hitting. I was playing every single position on the field. I was pitching, catching. I mean, you name it. Playing first in practice, like anything I could do to get on the field. Turns out I get on the field and then the rest was up from there. But started ripping weighted balls, not even knowing what I'm doing. Like I'd go to the cages at 5 in the morning, just rip weighted balls and long toss, do bodybuilding workouts. You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
The normal
Oh
JUCO
yeah.
NAIA Division I journey. I mean, just think of a weighted ball, start ripping that shit down the hallway. No, I love it, Dave. You're an NAIA guy, man. I feel like this in this day and age, dude. No one gets what the NAIA grind is. Dave, is there situations and stories you have like that?
Yeah, I think it's I went JUCO to two different NAIAs as well, and I went to three different schools in my career. And it's a different type of level, NAIA. You get a lot of mix, but a lot of good players. But a lot of those good players had to work really hard to get there. And I think like anywhere else, you trust your preparation, you put in the work, and it's going to work out. But you have to trust that, you got to be disciplined enough to go to the cages at night and get some extra swings in. Or, what you're doing, throwing balls, weighted balls in the cage at 5 a.m. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
I think it's all relative in that perspective.
Dave, I usually don't go to you this early in the episode, but since it's an NAIA guy, I got to go back to you. Is there like an NAIA sales pitch that you have? Like you played in two different conferences, two different teams. What's your best like 30-second David Mitchell like rant on that?
Yeah, I think just make the most out of it. Like it's an opportunity every single day for anyone that still gets to play the game. And I think if you change your perspective on like, man, like I kind of was an overthinker in my career and kind of was too hard on myself. But once I opened up and just like, man, I get to be out here with the boys playing baseball in the South, it was a game changer.
Yeah, must be nice. I just opened up in snow every year for four consecutive years. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, I think my NAIA pitch, and this is something that, Harp and I talk about a lot, is that the level of baseball in the Sun Conference alone is unbelievable, right? Like our average four seam velocity on our pitching staff is better than a lot of Division I programs in mid majors in the MAC. Shout out Ball State if you're gonna listen to this, Glenn. No, I'm just kidding. But like I mean, the guys that you are seeing and the guys that you are playing against, like it's real. It's real, and there's no secret why. There were 7 pros signed out of this conference last year. Like 3 or 4 guys were drafted. Like it's real, man. And I knew it was real when I got down here, but again, Harp, and he'll get into this, like being a guy that, was in Omaha last year, right? And then coming down and being like, man, this staff and these teams are right here, right? Like it's the levels are
Hmm.
so tight. So it's different in every area, but man, it's super competitive. It's super tough, but like I love it, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
Oh
that's
yeah.
where I was going next. Yeah, I was going there next, Harp, because it's crazy, dude. I don't think in the history of this podcast we've ever had someone go from Omaha to the Sun Conference, and then all of a sudden you're in this NAIA that's not in a rebuild but a reload. It's like
Hmm.
it's a crazy calendar year development for you. Talk about being on the team last year, and then now being a team leader and being one of the guys on this year's team.
So, I mean, that kind of dates back. You got me thinking now. So, in high school, I came in when a new coach was there and was almost in like honestly in like a rebuild. We finished the year, I want to say 20-8 or something like that when I left. And then junior college, Coach Mike McLeod was leaving after, coaching. Well, he won 1,000 games, whatever it was. So he was out, and then Brian Henry came in, and it was like the same thing. And then Murray Skirk was there for, I want to say, 4 years before I got there as the head coach. And then I was there. So when I was there, I think it was, it was pretty cool because I've seen all the different sides of the game as a player. I've seen all of them. I've been the guy, the walk on at the junior college that had to like seriously fight just for a chance to pinch run or whatever it might be, pinch it. Um, I've been the guy that didn't play high school baseball until I was a junior, senior, get the chance to play on the field. And then at Murray, I've been the guy that was injured. I've had Tommy John and stupid stuff like that. So I've also seen it from that lens also. So I think tying it all together, it's really set me up well to lead in different ways here at Warner while also helping rebuild something that I know that Warner can be.
Yeah, we're cooking now. We're in the building
Eh,
now. Here's what I will say. Harp, as we go on, there's a lot of athletes, once again, a lot of coaches. That's our dynamic, right? Three
mhm,
years
mhm.
into this thing, that are just looking for something here. They're looking for someone to take away from each episode. In your journey, JUCO being a grinder, trying to get out there,
Yeah.
playing Division I baseball. You talk about your high school ups and downs. Anything
Mhm.
that you would say to a high school athlete right now that might be like, this is just too much for me? How did you keep going in the whole thing?
So I told somebody this the other day, character is the best tool. Character is your best tool. Because I think when you have character and you're somebody that is looking to keep going, number one for me, I look for Jesus in that. That's what I look for. I pray things
Amen.
as such. Yep, absolutely. And then also manifest a lot. I was like, when I was young, I would manifest exactly what I wanted to happen. And I think you got to be obsessed about it. You got to truly want to dive in and be good at all of it: nutrition, sleep, extra work. You got to like fully, you got to go all in on it. You got to accept that I'm not accepting no as an answer. I'm just not accepting no for an answer. Just not going to stop. Um, and I think you got to go do your homework. That's why I was telling you, you got to look for that one guy that has that story. And I was always doing research, like how did this guy go from this place to that place, or how did this guy pull it out of being an indie ball for 6 years and then being a big leaguer, or you're always looking for those stories. So I think the biggest thing is character is the best tool because I've seen really talented players get written off due to their mouth or their off the field stuff or whatever it might be. And I've seen players that you never thought were going to play. They ended up becoming great. So I think character is the best tool, to be honest.
Dave Mitchell, that was that's some of that. I asked for a takeaway. We just got it. There it is. Like that was beautiful testimony. We got Jesus sprinkled in. That was a beautiful sentiment there, brother. Well, hey, this is the only question that's ever scripted on this podcast.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a long time. We preface our podcast on the keep going moment. What was the moment where you felt like you got knocked to your knees, someone that brought you to the ground, and you got through it? Maybe what the normal man wouldn't have got through. What's your keep going moment?
Ooh, where do we start? Um, when I was 15, I want to say this would be a long-winded because it's like a part of the whole thing.
Harv,
So when
we
I
got you here to
was
be yourself, brother. Be yourself.
Wait. So when I was, I want to say 14 or 15, I had a pituitary gland issue. So my body wasn't naturally producing free testosterone or whatever it might be. I can't even get into the weeds of it. I don't know all of it. My stepmom's a nurse. She'd be able to explain all that stuff, but I don't really know what it was. But I couldn't. My body, I was smaller than everyone. Like it wasn't even close. I was a late bloomer. So that was number one. Sophomore year of high school, or junior year of high school, I had four bulging discs in my lower back. Freshman year of high school, I had MCL tear in my right knee from football. Just kind of backtracking. Eighth grade year of football, I broke my elbow. Um, Junior year of high school, I had elbow issues. Senior year of high school, nothing. freshman year of
Wow, hold on.
college.
That's extremely rare. Nothing was crazy. I bet you were like, damn, put me in bubble wrap for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
entire
yeah,
year.
yeah. Well, I think that's where, like, if I date it back, I think it was all those things. It was the breaking my elbow in football, and then immediately after that, it was pituitary gland issue, figuring that out, and then after that, it was bulging disc, in which I thought I would never come back from, never. And then after that, it was MCL tear in my right knee, and then things just compounded. You know what I mean? So I think that was my keep going moment because I look at those things now, I look back on those things now, and it's like, man, like I don't know where I found the fire then, I'll be honest. I was just like, I'll pull it off. Like I'll pull it off. That'd be fine, you know? And here we are. So,
There's a level of protection there.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And you talk about it being a man of faith, and we talk about the same parable. I probably brought this up on this podcast 50 times.
Hmm.
The guy that doesn't go to war because he injures himself and he thinks when he got injured it was the end of the world and everything was screwed and blah blah blah, and it actually protects him from the greatest tragedy and trial that he probably would have ever went through. So it's just like as you go through it, it's so
Hmm.
inspiring for young athletes and coaches to listen to your journey and learn from that because they only see this, like they only see this Harper, right? They see
Hmm.
the guy out there throwing big time innings, the guy that was in Omaha last year, the guy that's, become this great baseball player. They don't see the kid fighting a broken elbow and MCL and all that stuff that you went through,
No,
man.
no.
There's a lot of beauty in that, but it's a lot of beauty to tell your story today and let people know that, hey, I was about to say, MFers, I'm here. Like, this is my time. David, I'm
Oh
going to
yeah.
kick it over to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from you, I don't know you that well, but you don't give up. Like
No.
you've been through a lot. Like I can't imagine. I've been through a couple things. You've been through a lot. And to be where you are today just means you're exactly where you are supposed to be and you just
Hmm.
put in the work for that to happen.
Yeah.
100%.
Amen.
Yeah.
No,
Amen.
I think the thing that, I envy most as, you come over to a new program, right? Like I've, been coaching and you come over to a new program and you're looking for players who can, hold the rope is kind of what I say is like it's player driven leadership, right? It's the guy that can rally the troops. It's the guy that can, that can handle the things within the players. And, that's Harper for us, right? Like he is our leader. He is our guy, right? He is the guy that's able to rally the troops, right? And he brings so much perspective to our team, right? He brings that, that working hard every day. He brings that strength. He brings that intensity. Like he's fiery like the rest of them are.
Yeah.
Like, but like we need that. Like our players need that, right? And there's never been a time, and Harper's had some things. He had a blood blister on his finger, right? He had some things happen, and he's just never wavered in his leadership and his strength, right? And that's something that I'm so grateful to have as a coach is that guy that can that can hold the rope and can kind of control and not only that it's the building of more leaders, right? Like as Harper has led, our pitching staff and our team, we've had guys step up in that department because they're like, okay, Harper's holding me accountable. Harper's making sure I get my stuff done. Like now I got to make sure that this guy gets his stuff done. Right. So he's been able to elevate this group just because of, the passion that he brings. And that's just something I'm super grateful for as a coach, man. And, I appreciate that guy over there and he's done a great
Yeah.
job. He's doing a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Yeah. I think it's back to back weeks where I leave the podcast going, a man with unwavering faith in the ability to be a shepherd. And when I say be a shepherd, it's, lead the flock, but don't forget about the one either. And
Mhm.
that's a beautiful trait when you're in the bullpen with 15, 20 other guys and they're all looking at you like, hey, dude, you're
Mhm.
our horse. You're our guy. Dave, I'm going to kick to you for the mailbag, man. David Mitchell's mailbag is hot and ready to go, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple questions here, but I know we're getting close on time. My first question is: you've been through a lot. You've been through a couple different schools,
Mhm.
transferring here and there. What's the hardest part about transferring that nobody talks about?
The hardest part is, it sounds so just basic, but it's making sure you're making the right decision because you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. You think you do. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into. So when I went from JUCO to Murray State, there was all, from the outside looking in, it's all upside. Oh, he's going from junior college to Division 1. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into though. And then you could say the same from going D1 to in AI. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into. So you have to make the best calculated decision as you possibly can. I was coming to a Christian private school in Florida, which is 4 hours from my house. It's hot year round. So I was like, sounds like a pretty good decision. And I knew the conference. So I was like, let's do it. So I made the best calculated decision I could at that given time for the sake of my career. So,
Yeah, that's good advice. My next question is now that you're a little bit older in your career,
mhm.
what does success mean to you?
What does it mean to me? That's a hard one. I've never had to evaluate that. I don't think it doesn't mean that much to me because I think it's validated by yourself. It depends on what you want to get out of it. Because there's people out there that they just want to be on the roster. That's all they want to do. At the end of the day, that's all they want to do, and that's fine. That's how they want to contribute to a team. And then you got people out there that want to be big leaguers. Then you got guys that are in the big leagues that aren't satisfied with being a big leaguer. They want to win the Cy Young, or it's not enough. So I think it's all perspective in that sake as far as success. So for me, I want to be a professional. I want to lead people, and I want to play the game forever. I want to play as long as I can, and then go from there. So that's my version of success. How long can I keep going? How many outings can I keep going? Keep going.
Yeah, look at
Kind of goes
those.
along with
Shouting
it.
out the mantra. Look at
I know
that,
it
baby.
kind of goes with it. Yeah,
You think
yeah,
so? Yeah. So we usually get
yeah.
one out of you for promo, so that was good. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I love that. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our listeners that it could be about anything, your mental health, your journey, anything that we may have missed today? The stage is yours.
All right. Yeah, I think the biggest thing when you tied into the podcast and what y'all's message is and what the keep going and things like that is when it comes to mental health and stuff, I think grabbing your Bible, understanding who Jesus is probably one of the biggest things you can do. And this comes from somebody that did not grow up in a house that, was like in a church all the time. I would go here and there, and then I really started opening the Bible and really started reading it. And I found the story of Job and things like that. So I think it's important to look to guidance also within your people. Talk to people, don't hold things in. Uh Talk to people. O'Malley knows about that. Me and him talk all the time about all kinds of things. Um and yeah, just keep going. You got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to set objectives, goals, and just don't stop. And don't seek for validation of others. And don't let people put a timeline on your success ever.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think I've ever done this on an episode here. I usually give a nice little thing about the person you are, Harp. But like, what I've learned today, it has been something where I'm about to set into a day where I go in the cage from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like we're going 27 straight. And
yeah.
you know, it's gonna be a slug out there today. But with some of the stuff that we just touched on, how
Yeah.
can I not go into those conversations, into those settings now feeling rejuvenated, ready to roll?
Yeah.
And I owe that to you. So I owe that to you.
I
I'll
appreciate it.
spin it around. No, of course, I'll spin it around the horn. Adam, Dave, back to me. We'll close this thing out. Go ahead, Adam.
No, man, this is my guy, dude. I'm so proud of, him and his journey and, everything that he has kind of went through and just to be, unwavering in his process and, in his faith and just what he does, not only for me and the coaching staff at Warner, but for the players like the servant leadership is everything, right? So that space in which he holds himself in such high regard, man, I couldn't be more, grateful for that. And, I'm super excited just to be, a small part of his journey and, and me and Harper are gonna be boys for life, man. We've already talked
Oh
about
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just super excited to be, you know, the small part of his journey that I got to be. And, you know, I'm excited to, you know, keep coaching him for the rest of the season here and then, you know, just be with him in the future. So appreciate it, my guy.
Mitch?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that stood out to me in this episode today. But one thing that really stood out to me that you said is character is your best tool. And I've
Amen.
never heard that before.
Amen.
Like
Amen.
that's
That was
who
it.
you are. Like that really stood out to me in this episode today. Thanks for coming on in a couple days notice. Appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah,
And we'll have to connect more after this.
I would love
absolutely,
that. I love it.
absolutely.
Before game one on Thursday night, Patrick texted me and I walked right up to Harper. I'm like, you free Sunday at 8 a.m.? And he's like, let's do it. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Hey, there's a lot of blessing in this kind of stuff when a good plan comes together and it takes a village. So thank you everybody for taking time. Thanks to all the listeners. It's crazy to think, Dave, you look at our social media, hundreds and thousands of people are taking time out of their month to come check out this podcast. Dave, I remember when 10 people were watching this podcast and it was my mom and me watching it 9 different times. So what I'll tell you right now, I love our group. I love our guests. And I love our following. Harper Mclendon, a leader of men, an NAIA legend, Omaha's very own, and the best flow in the history of the podcast. Harper
Yeah.
McLennan, thank you for being here today, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Keep going. Have a great rest of your Sunday, y'all.